We're back, gentlemen. You thought you got rid of us, but you're almost right. You're almost rid of us. The game's almost over. Don't worry.
And a sigh of relief was heard to be breathed throughout the audience.
Oh, game, oh, game. At least we'll be treated to a very, very, very short and brief cutscene.
And the music's pretty cool in this section as well.
I'm coming for you, Hyde. I owe you. I'm Special Agent Aya Brea of the CTI. And my final mission is about to begin.
And yet another reason why it kind of feels like they, like you mentioned before, did the first level and the last level as the very first thing.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were going for like just to kind of like dive you into the end of the plot and like this is my last mission, and then they kind of like count up what happens
Yeah.
to that point first, and then you do this to like try to draw the player in with like a twist like that, right?
Yeah,
But,
I mean they kind of did that with Alpha Protocol as well, which I was playing recently. Everything's told in flashback. And thinking about it, it probably would have been a much better way of handling the game as a whole.
but
At the very least, they could have
this
filled in the
area's-
2-month blank from there.
Yeah. At least this area is pretty neat to look at. But once we get inside, there's a lot of detail, but it's not too exciting.
Yeah,
It's kind of generic.
Yeah, it's kind of generic organic cave levels. I mean, if you played...
End of the world, generic cave level sort of feel to it.
I mean, I see this, and the first thing I thought about was the flood levels from Halo 3.
So, something like that, actually, yes. But at least here we got like neat things to look at, like cars sticking out of the walls. Wow.
The orange barriers
Walls,
kind of...
houses.
The orange barriers, I should say, always kind of reminded me of teeth in this section.
Well, actually, that's funny because I was going to talk about them. These are the only barriers in the entire game that will respawn. In this entire episode has respawning barriers. Thank God.
Yeah, it's helpful.
Bam. I love impact shotguns. Yeah, screw that guy. And there's the upgraded attack that these guys can have. They'll basically just stab someone and suck blood out of them, and then they'll get health back. Jerks.
Oh,
Very
that
rare that they do it though.
soldier didn't seem to be too put out by it, though. It's sort of like, hey,
Yeah.
over here, check it out. I'm getting my blood drained.
Oh, and guess what? Rollers have frontal shields now.
Also, a new fancy and fantastic look.
And a lot of health bars.
I'm kind of come to the territory.
Yeah. Now, most new players, including myself, will start by going, oh, well, they have a barrier. You can, like, totally shoot the barrier down. And I briefly take a look around here. But you'll go like, oh, well, if I do enough damage, then the barrier will go down. Ha ha ha. No. It runs on time. On easier difficulties, it'll be up for a few amount of seconds, then it'll go down, and then it'll bring it back up, go down, bring it back up. On Insane, the barrier will be up 24 hours a day, gentlemen, so you have to get behind it. So I hope you've learned to just go behind the roller and shoot it in its back.
Consider that your final test for working out if you know, say for showing if you know how to use the overdive system properly.
Also, explosives will hurt it. The barrier doesn't really save it from explosives. And Liberation will instantly break its barrier and give you a free stagger.
These are Hyde Boar's tracks.
You can tell because he's wearing fancy shoes.
But they're also nice to build up Liberation on when they jump down from the ceiling or spawn and they're invulnerable for a while. Because you can still hit them and build up Liberation. So with this gun, you can pretty much have Liberation ready for when they change. Also, I might add that the rollers are a lot more aggressive on when we get to this section of the game, so they're a lot more dangerous.
And also, the confines are a bit more cramped as well. So they're rampant
Well,
thrashing
not
about.
everywhere.
Ramping thrashing about does tend to be a bit more difficult to avoid.
Also, Snatcher have a new attack. He almost charged up and used it there. But it's basically, it'll flashbang you and the screen will go white for a moment and blind you. Kind of annoying, but doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
Because you can still kind of see the outlining of everything.
And worst comes to worst, you can always just start jumping around like a lunatic.
Exactly. See? Instant break. But, you know, as we get further into... What I do like about the level design, though, is as you get further into the Babel, it goes from this white sort of look to the walls becoming more orange, brown, muddy sort of colors, and then to red and more organic looking.
Closer you get to the core,
Exactly.
squishier it gets.
I like that as a design, I guess.
Yeah, it does work. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, as I said, it's a shame
It
that
is
it's
kind of a generic looking, though.
Yeah.
They do have, again, at least interesting scenery. And there's one particular thing that I found really amusing when I noticed, and I believe I mentioned it to you before, but I'll point it out to the ladies and gentlemen as they watch the videos when that time comes.
Target acquired.
I decided to use the NPC weapons for a little. And I'm having trouble targeting him. I'm just toying around with weapons.
Let's do this.
There's the blind attack. As you can see, it's kind of annoying, but it doesn't really make a difference, and it doesn't last long enough for it to really bother you.
Yeah, and compared to the status elements in like the first game, really annoying. This, not so much.
And there's a school bus stuck
There is
into
an
the wall.
area inside the Babel where energy is gathered. The Doors of Time. That should be where overdive is possible. If you encounter Twisted heading to the past,
Instead of me
following
looking
that would
around,
be
I
the
should have
easiest
just
way to
run
get
for
there.
it. Because I just preempted the attacks on those cores. There's two of them. That is really preferred. And I jumped into that person at the worst possible time.
Am I getting a hit? Oh god, the burning!
And I suck at using unupgraded snipers. Ah, they're so bad.
Seems like they've got a redesign as well.
Yeah, they got a new redesign. They're slightly tougher. But they don't have any more new tricks up their sleeve because they already got all their tricks. The jerks.
It's not like they needed anything extra to annoy us.
Nope. Oh, that guy's just gonna stand over there and regenerate. Thank you. Now, you may notice there's one guy left I could jump to, but he's pretty far away, and that is a sort of optional spot, which I'm being forced to jump into now, so people see it anyways. When you jump over to here, there's a guy kind of in an island in the middle of nowhere. Jump to him, 2 wads, and another beanbag will spawn, so it's really better if you don't jump to this guy at all, if you can avoid it. But he's like a last resort guy. And if you do manage to activate him, you still have to fight for your life.
Even when the game's being halfway merciful, it's still being a dick.
Yeah. Well, I guess at this point I kind of need the experience anyways. And I get to show it off. And the jerk just keeps teleporting. But shotgun is here to save the day. Not an all too powerful shotgun. I would have gotten that shotgun early if I played on normal. But for some reason they decided to give me this weak shotgun late game. Because I play on hard.
I'm saying that someone's stirring macaroni cheese really slowly in the background.
But again, more guys they have spawned, and that is to keep going for the next part of this area. But I don't really want to do that until I kill these two beings if I can do it, if I can avoid it, because funny enough, more enemies will spawn, and these guys will basically be pounding on me with their shots, including what'll spawn. So I really do want to get rid of these. Basically, I can jump over to that one guy in the side, clear the enemies over there, which is by far easier than clearing out these two beams who are assist firing with each other. Or I can clear out these two beams and the soldiers over there will spawn, and I can just completely ignore the one guy over there. Preferably, you get rid of these two guys.
Easier said.
Yeah. This is as tough as beams will ever get in the entire game. Well, difficulty-wise on the difficulty you're playing on, because this is the last episode before the boss gauntlet.
On the plus side, still nothing compared to the previous chapter.
Yeah, I'd rather fight beams than I'd fight worms.
Hmm.
Screw worms. You saw that one area on insane mode where I just spent like 10 minutes killing 2 worms. Now imagine if I got tossed as many worms as I got tossed beans. Fun. Oh, and when I noticed also when I was playing this round, because I usually don't use critical shot, but I'm using critical shot this playthrough. Critical shot shoots off one of the energy bullets from when you're in liberation mode. It will apparently also break the enemy shield, meaning it will give you a free stagger if it manages to activate.
Can't remember if I used critical shot or not in my playthrough.
Well, critical shot is only good if you're using a lot of handguns.
Probably not then.
Getting some more use out of the grenades. I do so enjoy my grenades. Well, not really.
They have their uses.
Yeah, I always just forget about them. So I'm taking a quick look around. Generic, fleshy, meaty, white walls of some sort, and buildings strewn all around with red spikes.
Yeah. It's just a shame that everything's so freaking generic. I mean, if they'd actually tried to...
Well, it's only between chapter shifts you see differences.
Yeah.
And,
just as a whole,
outside.
it's really disappointing for final level.
Cars stuck in. I still like the bits where you see debris stuck in. And this is the area I spoke of before. Now, people who have noticed it by now, here's the big sign. Remember the Statue of Liberty? The babble that was wrapped around it?
Goddamn maniacs.
Yeah, they ruined it. They ruined it all. But yes, I actually kind of like that. They remembered, yes, the babble was wrapped around the Statue of Liberty, so it dragged part of the Statue of Liberty into the babble. Well, the Grand Babble.
Just the Parasite Eve franchise as a whole just really doesn't like the Statue of Liberty.
The
No.
Twisted will gather here to
Doesn't.
venture into
It's like
the
it-
past.
What the hell, man? What did it ever do to you?
Return to the womb.
Yeah. Poor hunk of
Ivor
copper.
has something else up his sleeve.
You know she's naked under that toga.
Grand Babel isn't used to travel hundreds or
I
thousands of years
really
back
don't
in
want to
the
know.
past.
No, but you might want to watch
Just
Ghostbusters
several years
at some
ago.
point.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, there's the spikes from the crown lying about. I really did not notice it until I started doing this Let's Play when I started, exploring the environments more, and then, when I was pre-recording all my insane and easy mode videos before I even started touching the the new game videos, then I started noticing the whole Statue of Liberty just sitting there, and I was like, oh, I did not notice that. That was exciting and interesting and new.
Delightful.
But we got new stuff. Oh, I know that shotgun. Guess what I'm gonna be buying?
I wonder.
But I like that shotgun. I like that series of shotgun. The GR series of shotguns are awesome.